Well, this is great because the Longsands have now joined me in the studio. Trevor Cox on lead vocal, Ian Barnes on acoustic guitar and vocals, David Stanya on acoustic guitar and vocals, Gary Ormston on bass guitar, and Paul Stevenson on percussion. Welcome to you all.
Hello.
You're here in the studio with us.
Thanks for having us.
Lots to talk about, but what are you going to play for us first?
We're going to play the first track off our debut album, which is called Worlds Collide.
Okay, it's the Longsands with us here then on Radio 2.
Talking to myself again. It's the only way you're ever gonna learn. You look back and it's all in the past, dwelling on the thoughts I cannot say to you. If I don't say the words, then maybe it's not true. An all-out attack. It feels like I've been taken on the world's machine, because I want it more than anyone can dream. You look back and it's all in the past. You tell me how you live by all the things you do. You can't be yourself, but maybe I'm not you.
When they come and say to you, you're the only thing that makes us all believe. And it feels alright where the worlds collide. Manipulation stands to make us brave.
One time you said it's coming over you. You're wishing upon a star. Wishing it on a star. You are, you are, you are. One time you said you want control of me, something that you should learn. When the cards are hell, I run, you burn. One time you said it's coming over you. You're wishing upon a star. You're wishing it on a star. You are, you are, you are. One time you said you want control of me, something that you should learn. When the cards are dealt, I run, you burn. One time you said it's coming over you. You're wishing upon a star. You're wishing it on a star. You are, you are, you are, you are.
Great stuff. This is the terrific sounds of the Longsands, who are with us in the studio, and the song is the opening song from the band's album Meet Me in Spanish City. The song is called Worlds Collide. It's great that you're here. I've been enjoying your music so much through this year. Just tell us about the history of the band, first of all, Trevor. How long have the band been together now?
We've been together with this lineup since about 2009. We've been doing some touring like around the country, like supporting like various bands like Ocean Colour Scene and with Bruce Foxton. And then we got together after the tour and put the album together. It's an album which collectively we've been working on the songs since we were teenagers. We just had such a selection of songs that we had to try and condense into one album, you know. Since then we've just been out gigging it and promoting it the best way we can. Obviously you've been playing it a lot, like, so that's a good help for us.
So you've known each other for forever.
Yeah, we all, well, with the exception of Paul, we all went to school together.
We've all kind of played in bands together as well,
yeah.
Various different bands.
So, I mean, Stan, Trevor, Gaz and myself formed a band in high school called Lotus. That was from when we were about 15, wasn't it? And then there's been various sort of changes and stuff, but the Longsands kind of officially started in about 2006, maybe 7. But then, like I say, there was a couple of changes here and there, and then we started sort of really taking it seriously from about 2008. We did a tour of Greece. Basically, me and Stan kind of got thrust into this situation in my shorts and t-shirts where we were in this big sort of apprentice style office with Warner Music Greece and some Greek guys smoking a cigar, and we were telling them about all these fantastic songs we had and everything, weren't we? And kind of going back on the plane and thought, crikey, we better put this album together. But that kind of went pear-shaped when the Greek economy went pear-shaped. So
yeah, they couldn't afford a drink spill, could they?
Yeah. So that never happened, but because we were kind of under pressure to do that, it forced us to kind of look at the songs we had, and then about half of the album was already written then. And then me and Stan sat down and said, like, we wanted it to be stronger, so we kind of, well, we managed to blag a golf weekend, didn't we, on the band account?
Yeah.
And we went away, played some golf, drunk some beer, and came out with some of the key songs on the record, I think. Bully, University of Life, Streets and Pavements. Anyway, some of the ones that have ended up becoming some of the fans' favourites, so we're glad we spent the time over it, because you only get one debut album, don't you?
Absolutely. And it's a colourful path that you've trodden up to this point.
Yeah.
So who are the main writers in the band then?
Well, on this record, predominantly the songs are either I've wrote them myself or Stan's kind of co-wrote them with me, but all the lyrics are mine, and Stan's big influence tends to be music. Like his guitar playing's fantastic. I've never played or seen another guitarist like him, actually, and I'm not very nice to him that often, but yeah, there's another band touting for him, so I thought I'd better.
It's the Longsands with us here in the studio, BBC Radio 2. This is the Bob Harris Show, and what are you going to play for us next?
The next track we're going to play is going to be our new single. It's probably the track I think that goes down the best live, isn't it? And it's called Little Britain.
If you're right, you're wrong, only free if you sing their songs. And I know they wait till we're ahead and they regulate. If I laugh at jokes around work, then my job's on hold and they fight so hard to be free. But if you smoke your bar, so I'm out here standing in the, I'm out here standing in the, I'm out here smoking in the rain. Well, you're young and bright, but you need a gun to fight. They won't take the blame. It's on Sky and computer games, and I see divide on our streets, and it's in our eyes, and I pay the fee. I feel alone in my own country as I'm out here standing in the, I'm out here standing in the, I'm out here smoking in the rain. their tolls I can't save, and my funds controlled, and they make us see it's for our good and our own safety. And I laugh at that, and I ask where your balls are at there to be. Debate, is it true the weather nanny stayed as? I'm out here standing in the, I'm out here standing in the, I'm out here smoking in the rain. So let's raise a roof and do it for all our children, unless you want them all to be their angels. Let's raise a roof for our next generation. I'm sick of standing in the, I'm sick of standing in the, I'm sick of smoking in the rain.
Just great stuff. It's the Longsands with us in the studio, and that is going to be the next single, isn't it? Yeah. Excellent stuff. I just want to talk to you for a second about, because I love Newcastle. I've been a visitor to Newcastle on and off since probably the late 60s, early 70s, when I was comparing tours. And I always used to think, Newcastle was a great party town on a rock and roll tour. There's a couple of great rock and roll hotels in Newcastle. Five Bridges, or is there
The Bridge Hotel?
Bridge Hotel?
Yeah.
Is one that I remember staying in many aeons ago. But the music scene in Newcastle nowadays, because I've always thought it as being really vibrant. Is that the case 2012?
I would say yes and no. There's a lot of very good bands. It's actually breaking out of Newcastle. There's a big scene up there, and there's a lot of dedicated supporters of the music up there. But it's, I don't know whether there's a little bit of a stigma attached to Newcastle bands at the moment, because that was obviously a great time with bands like Maximo Park coming out of Newcastle, and I think for a while everyone was expecting a load of bands to follow in their footsteps, and it didn't really happen, did it? Until us.
I think live music is so popular in the Northeast, and there's a huge cover scene. But what there isn't, it doesn't have the vibe of a city like Liverpool or Manchester for original music. There's plenty of people wanting to do it, but places are very few and far between.
So places to play then, Ian, they're not a lot
I mean, they do exist, but quite often, I mean, we hire all the venues ourselves up there, don't we?
Yeah.
I think people want to hear it, but I don't know. I think it could be better. I really do.
And studios,
Yeah,
places
there's some great studios, great rehearsal rooms. There's some great touring bands come through there who are already established, but I mean, at a grassroots level, I think personally the cover scene is a lot bigger than the original scene.
Well, what happened with us, like most bands, it started out friends and family, didn't it?
Yeah.
And we're lucky because there's a few of us quite popular on the band, some of them not so, but they were dedicated, and because we had good music, people kept coming back, and obviously word of mouth's a big thing, and we do a lot with the football club in the North East as well, which has been a massive bonus for us, hasn't it, on the local scene. But I think if you just go out there and you want to play music and trying to break through, it's difficult.
It's something that, as we get more established, it's something that one day I would love to try and develop, because there are great bands up there, and the people are great people, and it's a great city to visit, and it's my home. And I now live in Manchester, but I've lived in that city, and I've lived in Newcastle, and I can see the difference. People will pay £6-7 no problem, just because there's live music on in there, and if it's original music, it's more like, wow, I've heard this great new band tonight. Not, no, well, they didn't play anything I know. And I
everybody wants "Don't Stop Believing" by Journey.
That's an attitude that I think that's an attitude that's got to change, in my opinion. And
so did that mean that you attempted yourselves to put a cover into the set just to?
No.
No.
Trevor and myself do the local kind of scene. acoustically, and for that we do kind of our own versions of covers because it pays for a beer. But with the full band, whenever you come to a Longsands show, the only way we would do a cover is if we were to do a real kind of identity stamp on it, and we've not ever done that yet, have we? So it's back to back our songs, you know.
Well, you give me a great list of songs you'd like to play by other people, and you know, Oasis really tops the list for you, Ian, doesn't it?
It does for me personally, because I think, although they're maybe not, well, they probably are still my favourite band actually, but they were certainly the band that got me into wanting to be in a band. Without watching sort of Noel Gallagher on his guitar, I would have never wanted to learn the guitar, would have never wanted to write songs, and for that I'm eternally grateful, you know, because I love what I do.
Weren't you listening to Two Unlimited at the time before?
Yeah, I was. Yeah. my first well, this is what it is, he saved me really. My first single was Two Unlimited, Get Ready for This, because some kids were listening to it at school, and you just buy what. But that was when Definitely Maybe came out, that was the first kind of, wow, this is good, you know. And I wasn't just listening to my dad's record collection or my thing, it was like, wow, I want to be in a band like that, you know. And then from getting into that band, then you find these other bands that you kind of go back in time, I think, and you find the Stone Roses, because they were just like a bit before my time, you know, and I'm like, wow, who are these? And then the Jam, and then the Pistols, and of course everybody ends up at the Beatles, don't they? And all of those bands, I think, we were probably all inspired by different bands at different times, but I think we all end up back in the same place, which is kind of great, you know.
Well, this is a fantastic track, and it is Ian's choice, and it is Oasis. This is Live Forever.
Just wanna fly. Lately, did you ever feel the pain in the morning rain as it soaks you to the bone? Maybe I just wanna fly, wanna live but don't wanna die. Maybe I just wanna breathe. Maybe I just don't believe. Maybe you're the same as me. We see things I'll never see.
That's Oasis. It's Radio 2. That was Live Forever, and the song is the choice of the Longsands, who are with me here in the studio. Specifically, it's the choice of Ian. But Gaz, the choice of the Foo Fighters. Just tell us about the reason for the choice of Everlong.
I just thought that Dave Grohl came from Nirvana, and to come from a band that established and that big, to then go into the Foo Fighters and do his own thing, write his own songs, and almost better than their songs, was just amazing for me, really. So
Controversial.
Yeah.
And Nirvana, anyway. I mean, I know Nirvana were like 3 or 4 years before Oasis, but for me, the Nevermind album was one of those records that changed everything.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Definitely.
I wouldn't put the Foo Fighters and Nirvana ever in the same category myself, but that's why bands are great, because you argue about music, you know?
Exactly. Well, anyway, I think the Foo Fighters are fantastic, and I couldn't resist playing this from the list you gave me. So this is Gaz's choice, and it is the Foo Fighters. This is Everlong. It's another great track. This one from the Foo Fighters, Everlong. It's the choice of Gaz, and Longsands are with me here in the studio to play a final song for us. So what's the last song going to be?
This one's a song called Spirals.
Skips on a beat as I wait here behind the door. Hands soaked in a sweat that I've seen many times before. Faster, pull yourself around, hold your breath, don't make a sound and snap my grip, just come together. Instinct says don't stop, 'cause I'm just a face in a crowd with no name. What brings you in brings me out. I'm blessed with love, you're strong with doubt. As I spiral underground. Love, just like a game in the park, they won't let you play. Fear climbs down and strikes out my heart like a hurricane. Faster, pull yourself around, hold your breath, don't make a sound, or look into a
Final number from our session tonight from the Longsands, and it's another from the album Meet Me in Spanish City. Just one final question though about the label and the name of the label, Unknown Soldier.
Yeah.
Ian, what's the significance of this name for you?
Well, it's got nothing to do with the military or troops or anything like that, because I have apparently it has upset a couple of people, but that certainly was never our intention. Obviously, one of our favourite bands were the Doors, and they've got a song called Unknown Soldier, and we felt like the independent nature of the way things are going, and the fact that the majors and, you know, the bigger independent labels are not taking as much risk on new artists, or maybe giving them enough time to grow before they're dropped and things like that. So when you're unknown and you feel like you're soldiering against, you know, we're not the type of band who can really, you know, we wouldn't suit shows like, you know, the X Factor or whatever. You know, we've got to kind of go out there and do it ourselves, and sometimes it feels like an uphill struggle, and that's kind of where the, you know, there's a lot of artists like that out there, I think, that could like relate to that, you know. And we just thought, because like the Doors song and then, you know, Unknown Soldier.
You've rehearsed that answer, haven't you? You were sitting looking in the mirror last night rehearsing that one.
But yeah, it's certainly, obviously, you know, Wood Troops do a brilliant thing, and it's nothing to do with anything like that. So,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
hope nobody takes it the wrong way.
Well, it's been a pleasure to meet you all. It really has. And thank you very much, all of you.
Thanks for having me, Bob. Honestly, it's been a pleasure.